This is Goku-san DBZ, of course, and welcome to a new Cells history video. Been a while since I've done one of these. If you're interested in the music in the background, this is Snow Castle from Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. So with that said, let's get started. This is going to be a relatively short episode because there's not a huge amount of games in this series. But with that said, this is the sales history for the Lost Planet series. Total, there was 4 games, that's it, in the series. So first up, Lost Planet, the original, which in my opinion is the best of the mainline games. It was released in 2007, of course, from Capcom. Released for the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, and the PC. Overall average critic score for it was a 7.5, not the greatest critic score, sort of average. But with that said, I still think it's a solid, great third-person action shooter. And I like the creature designs and everything. I find it actually quite enjoyable. The gameplay is solid. But that is Lost Planet Extreme Condition. It sold around an estimated 2.3 million copies, which is not bad at all. It's a good start debut for the series. Unfortunately, though, none of the rest of the series would ever do the sales that the first game. So, 2.3 million is the best selling of the franchise, unfortunately. And as time went on, the series went down and down in sales numbers, which sucks. But in my opinion, this series is undervalued, so this is a series that I would suggest collect before some of the other installments start going up in price. Next, released 3 years later, in 2010, we would get Lost Planet 2. It also got a critic score of 7.5 overall. It was released also on the PS3, 360, and PC. It sold around an estimated 1.7 million copies. So we would see a sales drop of 600,000. It's quite a hefty drop in sales numbers, from 2.3 to 1.7. And unfortunately, it would keep dropping from there, which sucks. But as it shows, also the price of the games goes up as it goes on. Less copies, the higher the price. And I still think Lost Planet 2 is a pretty solid game. Next, we skip to 2013, and that being the release of Lost Planet 3, which also was released on PS3, 360, and PC. It got an overall critic score of a 7 out of 10. Also, it only sold 600,000 copies, so that's quite a drastic drop from the first game of 2.3 million to 600,000 in the third game. That's quite a big drop in sales numbers. And honestly, I have mixed opinions and feelings on Lost Planet 3. I'd say it's my least favorite of the games. But I see how some people actually enjoy Lost Planet 3. It's still a decent game, don't get me wrong. Though I think quality-wise, Lost Planet 1 and 2 are definitely better than 3. Still, 3 does have its hardcore fans. Just like many games out there. And I consider myself sort of the same way with other games. Also released 1 year prior to Lost Planet 3 would be a really interesting and unique spin-off game, which was released only in Japan. It was just a quick look, and that is a sort of cel shade art style game. It is called EX Troopers. It plays pretty much like the other games in the series, but with a more of an anime the aesthetic, or whatever. Anyways, it was released, yeah, as I said, 2012. Now, funny enough, it was released, like I said, only in Japan. I love the art style, the cell shade they decided to go with this game. It gives its own distinctive flair and look. And personally, I think the game plays good, though unfortunately, you everything's in Japanese, which kind of sucks. Basically, it's trial and error since I can't speak Japanese. Or try to look for fan translations online. But the game was released for the PS3 and the Nintendo 3DS. Interesting platforms. And how well did it do? Personally, I think the game should have done a lot better than it did do. But just so you know, if you're at all curious to try the game, you can get this game for like $20 from Japan. So I recommend eBay, look for a decent seller, and just import it. Because like I said, I paid personally $15 for it. So, like, it wasn't expensive in the least, and it's still relatively cheap. That's the thing, like, it actually, of course, since it's sold only in Japan, sales numbers aren't going to be great either. And unfortunately, now, funny enough, critic score actually was better for the branch off game. EX Troopers overall critic score was an 8 out of 10, so it did the best critically out of all the games. It sold, however, only 120,000 copies. Yeah, so that's not great. So we went from the first original Lost Planet of 2.3 to the branch off of 120,000. That sucks. But with that said, that is it for a little bit of brief sales history for the Lost Planet series. And like I said, I highly recommend you check the games out. If you've never played any, get Lost Planet 1. You can get the game relatively cheap at GameStop for probably like $5 or $6. If you're near a GameStop that still has like 360 and PS3 games, personally, I recommend getting it for the 360. Personally, I just prefer the way it plays on the 360 better, controller-wise. But with that said, in the near future, in a month or two from now, I will be doing another sales history, and it's going to be for a somewhat relatively long sales history. The next edition of this series is going to be the sales history of the Halo franchise. So stay tuned for that one. So with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Same YouTube channel. Stay safe out there.